Xspouse 2025-2 implements relevant legislative changes from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBBA. Relevant legislative changes mean such changes as affect tax computations and support calculations within Xspouse. Some of the changes take effect immediately, while others will take effect on January 1, 2026. A PDF document that provides a detailed coverage of the changes implemented in Xspouse 2025-2 is available for download by clicking the link on the What's New page on the Xspouse website. The OBBBA introduces the following below-the-line deductions, all of which are subject to various limitations as detailed in the aforementioned PDF. These deductions are effective immediately. Deduction for income received from qualified tips. Deduction for income received from qualified overtime. Deduction for qualified passenger vehicle loan interest. Enhanced deduction for seniors. From 2026, educator expenses can be itemized. Additionally, for those who take the standard deduction, the OBBBA introduces a new above-the-line deduction for charitable contributions, which is effective from January 1, 2026, and is subject to limitations. New data input fields have been added to the detail window for adjustments to income. Use these fields to enter the full amounts of qualified tips received, qualified overtime income, car loan interest for qualifying vehicles, and educator expenses, and Xspouse will compute the amounts of allowable deductions. Note, the full amounts of qualified tips and qualified overtime must also be included in the relevant input fields for income, such as, for example, the input field for wages plus salary. The inputs in these new fields in the detail window for adjustments to income simply state how much of the total income entered elsewhere in Xspouse is comprised of tips and/or overtime. The computed amounts of the deductions for tips, overtime, car loan interest, and seniors can be viewed in Xspouse in the tax form display of Form 1040, Schedule 1A. Note, the deductions will be displayed only when the year in Xspouse is toggled to 2025 or 2026, as the deductions come into effect from 2025 until 2028. The itemized portion of educator expenses will be included in the amount that is displayed in Schedule A, Other Itemized Deductions. Note that the educator expenses deduction will be included only when the year in Xspouse is toggled to 2026, as the deduction comes into effect from 2026 onwards. As mentioned, charitable contributions can be claimed as an above-the-line deduction if taking the standard deduction, or as an itemized deduction if itemizing deductions. In both cases, the total amount of charitable contribution should be entered into the charitable contributions input field on the main screen. Xspouse will compute Schedule A, itemized deductions, and will then determine whether it is better to itemize deductions, or to take the standard deduction. If Xspouse determines that it is better to take the standard deduction together with the above-the-line deduction for charitable contributions, then the allowable amount of the deduction will be displayed in the tax form display of Form 1040, Schedule 1. Note, the deduction will be displayed only when the year is toggled to 2026, as the deduction comes into effect from 2026 onwards. On the other hand, if Xspouse determines that itemizing deductions is a better outcome than taking the standard deduction, then Xspouse will set the OBBBA deduction for charitable contributions, non-itemizers line to 0, since the above-the-line deduction cannot be taken if itemizing deductions. In either case, the display of Schedule A will show the amount that would be allowed as an itemized deduction if itemizing deductions. Xspouse 2025-2 also implements the following OBBBA changes. Standard deduction increased, effective immediately. Limitations on itemized deductions, effective from 2026. New caps and phase-outs for state and local taxes, effective immediately. Increased child tax credit, effective immediately. Changes to QBID phase-ins and minimum deduction, effective from 2026. Changes to AMT phase-out thresholds, effective from 2026. That concludes this overview of the changes that are implemented in Xspouse 2025-2. As mentioned earlier, a PDF document that provides a detailed coverage of the changes in Xspouse 2025-2 is available for download by clicking the link on the What's New page on the Xspouse website.